This is where we left the chamfered post table after stage 6, adding the top. And we detailed the tongue and tenons on the end of the top, but we did not make the matching mortises and so on in the breadboard. And in the last session we built the component breadboard here, but there's no joinery. So that's what we'll do in this stage. And the first thing to do is to reconnect the breadboard to the tabletop. So we'll bring that in there. And the first thing we need in the breadboard is the socket for the tongue, or the groove for the tongue, which is sticking out here on the face of the top. We can trace over that the size of the tongue, and then use the push-pull to create a groove in that breadboard. Now, just to help see what we're doing, I think it might be helpful to copy the make a copy of the breadboard and put it out here, just so we can see some of the things that are going on. So we've made the groove and that looks right, so that's good. Now we've got these longer tenons that protrude into the breadboard, and we need to create those mortises. So I'm going to turn on X-rays to see the tenons coming out, and I can actually edit the breadboard and locate those tenons with some vertical edges, and you can see those pop onto the copy out there. So these edges are defined. And we can also then push-pull that mortise out to the end of the tenon. And do that for the other two, double click. Now, since there is some cross grain issues here, where the top can expand cross grain, and of course the breadboard is long grain here, so it will restrain the growth and shrinkage of this piece unless we provide some space for that. So I want these mortises to give a little bit of space. I want that mortise to be in the breadboard to be a 1/16 inch bigger. So I'm just bringing that out a 1/16 of an inch, and I'll bring this one out a 1/16 of an inch. Also, we might as well just make the depth also a 1/16 out. So now I've got that spacing. This center tenon will be glued, and I don't need the extra flexible space on the edges. That can be a tight fit, but I will go ahead and give that a 1/16 of an inch depth for some space there. And then this tenon again, where it will not be glued, the mortise needs to be expanded out a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. And you can see those changes being made on the copy that we placed out. So that gives us the proper dimensions on those mortises, and we've got an extra breadboard here to go ahead and put on the other end of the top. Oops, I didn't want to copy that, I just want to move that. So red axis, flip along red, and bring this back in. Now there are some holes, some peg holes that go in here, but we'll do that later. So this is the end of the building the top, and the last thing that needs to be done is a drawer.